Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
Welcome to Movie Madness. In this episode, we're gonna kind of talk about, this is the benefit of what I'm doing on my channel, is this is a mad response to EVS's review of Mandalorian Episode 4 and the SJW infection, and how there's no pleasing right-wing SJWs, and he is the most charismatic of them all, but he also is one. And this is the thing. You cannot win this culture war. You have to work together. And to criticize the introduction of Cara Dune, saying it's an SJW infection and she totally manhandles the Mando, is absolutely goddamn ridiculous. And it's fitting a narrative of every introduction to, what does Jeremy say? Whammon is an SJW infection. This is hate bait, your video, EVS, and I'm calling you out for it. The other reason I'm making this video is I was looking at your Twitter feed, and you didn't make the comment yourself, but you're retweeting that Taika Waititi for episode 8 is where the incursion is going to happen. This is waiting to hate in hate bait. They are actually, now, this is the, now you're on the, I will give you your fair points. The other part of your review was fair. There's fair criticisms. But to say, oh yeah, the feminists are going to love this manhandling the Mando, she had the element of surprise in the fight. I'll rewatch the fight after watching your video. She had the element of surprise. She has a history of being a trooper. She has the skills, so she can go toe-to-toe with the Mando. And it was like a draw. They had each gun pointed at each other at the end. So she didn't completely manhandle the Mando. And this is where you lose your credibility, including you, EVS. You lose your credibility, and there's no pleasing. This is why we don't make any progress. This is why the movement is going stale. Because it's the same talking points. It's the same waiting to hate. And that not only you, Ryan Kinnell, hating the Yoda just to hate something. And to say, oh, we have differing opinions. I don't like Baby Yoda. I'm not even getting started on Random Hater 42. The absolute worst of the Menace. The Menace! You know what? I think she takes the cake over Jeremy. She just, whatever. Getting back to EVS. This was a weak directed episode. The action was not the best. The introduction of Cara Dune, it could have been better. I think under a better director, she could grow and become a better actress. So it was a mixed bag. I think Dave Filoni is directing the next episode, episode 5. So we'll really see if Cara Dune becomes a better character. But to say that an MMA fighter, introducing her and having a fight with a man is ridiculous, you're ridiculous. How can you please people when you try to have credibility to a woman fighting with a man? It's possible. If you're saying any introduction to a, now if it was Brie Larson going up against the Mando, go woo, Captain Marvel power, then you'd have a fair talking point. But when they were trading blows and it ends in a draw, how can you say that's overly feminist? Or saying just because Taika Waititi is being attached to episode 8, that's really when it's going to be, or the rumors of Rian Johnson coming on for season 2. Oh my goodness. This is where we don't make any progress, and you're going to be stuck in your bubble forever if you criticize everything like this. Her introduction was a way to try to appeal to both sides of this war in fandom and Star Wars. And I don't see any other better way than introducing a strong female character than someone that has a history in real life. Now, if you talk about her acting ability and the way to deliver lines, that's a different story. But her abilities to be a warrior, go to battle toe-to-toe with an opponent, get the hell out of here. Look at her history. Her history as an actress, that's a different story. That's fair criticism. And the directing ability of Bryce Dallas Howard, now, that's something you could talk about. I do think this is the weaker of the episodes. I hope season 5, or episode 5, picks back up, because it was the best and the worst right after each other. But this is the time, if you're going to try new talent, if you're going to give someone a shot, this is the episode in the season to try it. To put it towards the middle, more towards the beginning, and give someone a shot. They're all not going to be hit out of the park. And I do think that instead of having one director, this is how you really see that Favreau is attempting to do what Kathy failed at. He's giving people the opportunity. You have to throw in. Now, would a Deborah Chow whole season, or Favreau or Filoni be better? Probably. But you got to work it in a little bit there. It's choosing a director at the right point to introduce a new talent. So, what do you think of these mad responses? I like to do this because I do think that one of my strengths is offering a different opinion. And by the time this madman gets home from his day job, everyone else has already covered it. I think this was an important conversation. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think this is the start of the SJW incursion? And I'm planning on using his thumbnail and say this is a mad response to his criticisms. Now, the other part of the video, I think he was absolutely spot on. But to say this is the start, I think this isn't it. This is what I see as the future if we do criticisms, reviews, without being so hard to please, we're ridiculous. And I think what is it, a true attempt to please both sides of the Star Wars fandom. Introducing a character, a strong female character, which I'm not against, that's plausible. That's just not gonna... She didn't own the Mando. But it was to show that her strength of character. You have to do that to introduce a character. Do I believe it? Yes, I believe she can handle herself. Do I think she can handle her acting? That I'm on the fence on. There's a lot of room of improvement there, and a lot of room for improvement for Bryce Dallas Howard's directing ability. Do I want her to come back for season 2 as a director? I'm not sure. I think that... Can you imagine if this episode was directed by Deborah Chow, or Filoni, or Favreau, or I forget the other director that did episode 2, Famiyiwa. I would much rather have seen them direct it, but you also got to give people shots. That's the way forward. That's the way we move forward, is critique, but reasonable critique without the hate bait. With the SJW incursion. So I haven't seen I don't know if Jeremy does reviews on this series yet, or Kennel, which is just a Baby Yoda hater. So, I do plan on streaming tomorrow still to talk about this episode. So if you want to join the Fandom Alliance for Fan Live, where we also have a War Council discussing this episode, this I think is going to be the most divided episode so far. So I'm very interested to see the different opinions we get tomorrow. And tell me what you think. Maybe you think I'm wrong to call out EVS. I want to know. I think it was a bad take that he had in his video, and I think it's just proof that the Menace of Fandom are waiting to hate. Are you waiting to hate? Maybe share your comments in this video. I want to know, and I'll see you tomorrow.